Hi, everyone. Welcome to the digital experience team retrospective. We'll be going over what went well and what we can improve on from the last 2 weeks. Today is September 9th. And for things that went well, first up is Nathan.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that kind of once the essentials were in place and a lot of the components, the view components were in place, building out new pages is going to be a lot quicker. I already noticed it. So I don't want to get quoted on like some time frame, but I think going forward, if we have to revamp a page or rebuild a page, I can already tell it's going to take a lot less time. So yeah, just something that went well and something to look forward to.
I added a +1 on there. It's looking cool. I can start with the things to improve on. I think I've got the only point there. Sometimes things come up in Slack, which we've talked about before in the is this known channel or website or whatever, that are bugs. And we don't really have a process in place for who takes those on. I don't know if I'm over processifying this, or if it's fine. It just whoever smells it gets it. That's not saying, but whoever sees it first, like a hot potato situation. In previous companies, we have had one person that takes it on every week. They manage the support channels. But I don't know if that's the way we need to go, but yeah, I see a few points in there.
Yeah, not much to add other than I'm assuming this would fall under the responsibilities of a PM. I think. I know that I think we're still trying to hire. I think I saw an interview next week. So hopefully that could, kind of fall off our plates.
I have the next point. And I see that a lot of people have thoughts on this, so I'm just gonna vocalize my point really quickly. I don't know how comfortable I feel with our team taking requests straight from Slack, because it's I feel like if other teams have essentially different processes for letting up issues and escalating issues, I feel like we should too. And I don't think it's fair to us to just be something's broken, let's get tagged on Slack and do that. I feel like there should be more definition about that. And then a sub point for that, it's whose responsibility is it to look through issues for about? I imagine that's not all our team, because it's a ton of teams' responsibility. So but again, since I feel like we are, from an engineering perspective, the only people that really work in that, I don't know, it gets tricky, especially as we start to who owns this project. That question has been open for I don't know how issue been open for a year, more than a year now, and it's there hasn't really been a clear answer still.
I'll vocalize my point on that. It is tricky because I've noticed that sometimes, we say, make an issue, and then the issue's created and then it's not assigned to anyone for the same reasons as you two pointed out, who I think some of the people creating issues don't know who to assign them to. They assign them to Michael. I imagine he's got tagged in too many things. And then they post on Slack because they're they have a deadline. They've got some pressure coming from somewhere. So that's not an answer, but it's an observation. So if we say we're not taking things from Slack, we need to stay on top of our issue boards, or maybe not we, but somebody needs to be accountable for that.
I will try to vocalize my thoughts here. They're kind of going all, sometimes when it's put in Slack, you have to fill out a damn issue and then it goes on the issue board and then it goes blah, blah, blah. It just takes forever and it's so much busy work. What if it's just a little thing? I noticed this, bam, MR done in 10 minutes. So efficient and clean up over sign off. And if it's easy, I like doing that. Plus everyone can contribute. We are not everyone in the whole entire company can make an MR to dub. So if they post something in the website channel that needs fixing, anyone can pick it up. And I've seen Myra's a perfect example. She's all over the MR Buddies channel, all the time. There's lots of other people we can rely on to help. So we should have a process, like if it's a big issue, you know, like if it's a big thing, yeah, but if it's a small thing, and it feels good to like help people out real quick. And then once you've been around a while, you know, kind of like the ladder, like who the big fish are. And if you see someone from like, oh, that's an OG GitLabber that's been here for 6 years pointing something out, I'm gonna go fix that, you know, it helps. Okay, that's a bunch of things. I don't know how to write that down.
I strongly agree with Barker's. I added another sub value, which is bias for action. And I think, you know, I think Nate, you said responsibilities of project manager, like absolutely. Yeah, like, but like we don't have one, right? And so like I think it's a mix. I think the value of like here's like I don't think that I'm bullish on AI's capabilities in the future. I think that AI will become increasingly advanced and useful, but I don't think that it will replace humans working together in organizations, because I think that the thing that like that the value that we contribute to an organization as humans is like adaptability, right? Over process. And like if there was one process solve that would fix all of these things, then someone would probably know what it is, figure it out, and every company would do it, but they can't, because that's like not the nature of work and like what value is. I love process. I think it's great. And like, I have over indexed on it myself in the past. And I think that like having no process is bad and inefficient. And if we had no process, like we would not have like a clear trajectory or path forward. Right. And like, we would have nothing to fall back on. But like, sometimes there are things that like don't need to be, shouldn't be, or like can't be in a process, right? And like the value that you can add, and like the reason that we have a team the size that we are is so that like real human people can read stuff and like make judgment calls about it. And like, you know, and so I think it's just I think that like often when I see stuff in Slack, if I see, like Barker said, like you get a sense of like who's been around for a while, like who you should really listen to and like perk up at attention for. You also get a sense of like the size of different tasks. And it's like for big ones where you're like, it's probably going to take like 2 or 3 weeks of like someone's time or like multiple people's time. Like that needs to get into a process. You can't just sign us up for it. Right. But like I'm doing some like video carousel stuff today because I know that I'm free for the next couple of days, and it's like pretty small rocks. I'm just like, yeah, I'll just do it. Like you don't need to triage it. It doesn't need to get into a sprint plan. Like, and then like, and it builds like goodwill too, because like we can have the best process in the world. Some of our close partners and cross-functional partners might know what it is, people we work with all the time. But like a lot of times we have people who need stuff from us who have never worked with us before, or rarely worked with us, or worked with us 1 year ago when our process was very different. And like, it's unreasonable for us to expect them to know what our process is when they're just trying to get through their day. Like Tina said, like they've got their own like due dates and stuff that they have to get done. Like we shouldn't put an additional burden on them getting their stuff out, especially if it's something that like we really know we can do quickly. I'm like, yeah, I think it's judgment call. I think we should do less of it. I think, you know, Michael has said like we need to stop taking requests from Slack. I don't think we should treat that as a hard rule though. Like I think that like that should be the guideline. And then sometimes when you see stuff in Slack, like it makes sense to just go do it. Like Barker said, like sometimes it's like, this is a 10-minute MR and I'm going to solve someone's problem, and it won't get like lost, and they'll feel very grateful for us. And then when we have something that's going to take someone not a lot of time to do, but it'll unblock us in a big way, they're going to feel good about doing that for us. So, you know, I think it's balance. And I don't think that there's like a one size fits all answer. And I think that that's the reason that we get paid salaries, to like not be one size fits all solution makers, right?
Yeah, I agree. I think that like asking people to always create issues, especially for like smaller bugs, is just a heavy lift and not worth the amount of time. I've noticed that when I first started, kind of while I was still onboarding and I was learning the ropes, I took on everything I could find in the Is This Known channel. And I know Nathan did the same thing. I watched him like not have any work to do for the first, you know, month. And that channel was like watched, like he was on top of all the things. And now Tyler, in the last day and a half, you know, like you've jumped on a couple of things that I've seen, the carousel thing, and there was a different thing in a different channel. I've noticed you have the time to do it. So it is nice. I just don't know if we should kind of have an idea of like who should be doing, who's got the spare time to do it. Because I also saw those things come into, is this known or whatever, and like ignore. I'm like, not right now, I'm in the middle of something else, and it's great that someone else joined it, but if I never went back and like checked, it's like, oh, like, should I have gone back and done that thing? Is anyone else watching? But like, as long as we're all we have our eyes on those channels or whatever, I think sharing the work is totally fair.
And I think there's also an on-paper solution to that, which is, if someone needs something done, like the company is handbook first, and like you can go to Google and like this is a unique company where I can go and ask like who processes my reimbursement request GitLab in Google and get an answer in a handbook page. And so like I think I think we should never feel obligated to be tasked from Slack. So I think that you shouldn't feel bad if things sit, because people do have the ability and should know that they can Google, like if they've made it to the website channel or the marketing channel, then they know we exist, and they could Google GitLab handbook, digital experience, marketing website, and they would get to the page that has our process, that has a link to our issue. I don't think that they always have to do, like, I don't want to ignore someone if they haven't done that. Like, it's fine if you haven't, but like, I'm not going to feel bad if I don't get to your issue that you like didn't Google for the steps to resolution for, right? Like, I think that's the trade-off in the Slack. And Tina says in the chat, it's linked in the Slack header in our channel. Like, there are self-serve ways to do it. It's a kindness and a good thing for us to go out of our way and above and beyond to be good partners. But I don't think at any point we should ever feel bad about, like, if you have a lot of work that's been tasked to you and prioritized and agreed on, do that work, right?
I like it. I agree. I think that's the last of the points. Any final thoughts before I stop recording? Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much, and we will see you next time.